Yeah, hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin and Cardano. In this video, we're going to take a look at both charts, and we start with Bitcoin. Overall, the market in the green today, looking positive again. And as I said before, when Bitcoin is moving up slightly and moving maybe sideways in these uptrends here, in these short-term uptrends, then you get mostly altcoins to pump, regularly different altcoins. But you can see, 7 to 8% upside on a day, and that is completely normal in the crypto space. But these are the periods where you get a little altcoin rally, and just really for awareness, that is something that is worth pointing out. So Bitcoin hasn't really moved much since my last video. On the hourly chart, we can see that Bitcoin is currently fighting here with a resistance zone. So you can see here these two lines that I have, the red line here and the red line there, basically between 44.4 and 45.5K. I think this is some sort of a resistance zone that Bitcoin now needs to get through if it wants to climb higher. A very important one. I mean, to be fair, it's not looking too bad. Bitcoin is making higher highs here. And it has even made here from there to here also a higher high after dropping first. Overall, it's looking interesting, especially as Bitcoin is moving along this ascending trend line here at the moment, right? It has certainly, from this sort of long sideways movement here and after the pump, continued to maintain a solid uptrend. It broke through the 50-day moving average, even retested it successfully as support. That was here at 42.8K. And now Bitcoin is climbing higher, and we had this triangle on the chart. It did break out. I wouldn't call it a real breakout, because if you want to consider it a breakout, you would have had to have volume. In the end, there was no breakout. It just moved a little bit up, retested for support, and climbed up higher slowly and steadily this trend line. So it's not over yet. So Bitcoin is still here in the resistance zone. So it needs to go beyond that. And then we have this very important resistance level here at 46.4. That is one of the Fibonacci retracement levels for the wave 4. And if we break through that unlocks much higher prices. So in this case, then Bitcoin has a chance to go up all the way to 65K. And what I need to say is that this would still not be, in my view, a way to new all-time highs, but money can be made. That is why I had my buy orders placed here for Bitcoin and many altcoins, and a lot of them have triggered. So I think what I'll do then, when we really get to these higher levels, and that's the key, you can only move in this space with probabilities. And while my primary view is still that we go down below 28.7K, this move up that I'm talking about, this alternative that only become active if we move above 46.5K, then I will use that to take profits up there. And I'll make you aware when I do that. Channel members first, of course, because they can see my buy and sell orders. But even then, after this move up, because in my view that would then be just a larger counter move in a larger correction, right? We would still then get after that into this area. Okay, so it's just in this downtrend that we currently have, just be another correction, unfortunately. So, but I'll keep you updated about that, But until then, we are still in this scenario where we're in this wave 4, and we'll move down in a wave 5. But it is holding really well here, Bitcoin. But what we need to see, if this really is just a wave 4, and then we get down in a wave 5, then we need to see here at some point very shortly a strong counter reaction. Obviously, it hasn't reached the top yet, but between the level of 43.3K and 46.5, we need to see that rejection of the resistance. It's of one of these resistances, and then we need to get the sell-off. That is still what I primarily expect and that I go with. But I need to make you aware, of course, that to be honest, Bitcoin is holding well. But that is then all part of that wave B scenario. If we really move higher here, then actually what will then become active is just my original scenario that we talked about when we were starting that correction down in the first place, where I already talked about us going down here when this is the wave 3 at the moment in green here, that this actually then was a wave A wave B to the upside, and a wave B down, wave C down, sorry. That was then my primary view. That didn't materialize. We moved down first, which was my alternative. So moved down first, and now I think what we could be seeing here, if we now move up like that, that this would then become active. That was my original view. Didn't materialize then. Probably will materialize now if we, but only if we break above 46.5. So it's always important to be aware of these alternative scenarios, because first of all, to prepare, and I think I did that here with you, made you aware of various scenarios, and set my buy orders, of course, for channel members, but also mentioned where we had target levels, especially for Ethereum, Solana, Cardano. They were all reached, various other cryptos as well, yeah, and that we had a good chance to turn around here. Bitcoin hasn't reached it yet, which is why I think that Bitcoin could still, with a high probability, come down here. And if it doesn't do it then yet, not now, then that it will move, if it breaks that 46.5k level, move higher before it then will come down. So this is then again this scenario where many people will get too bullish again. People get very bullish already. I think this is not yet setting us up for new all-time highs. I must warn you, absolutely not at the moment, but it's important to acknowledge what the price is doing now and not to stay naive. So we always want to be aware of different scenarios, and did mention in the previous videos that Bitcoin, according to the indicators here, still has more scope to move higher actually. So primarily, yeah, I still view that move down here, that it is happening first, but there is a chance, and that is why I need to mention it, that Bitcoin will move a chunk higher here. And we can just see that by looking at the 2-day RSI. And of course, I want to make you aware before it happens, because otherwise, you're not prepared. So on the 4-day chart here as well, there's a good chunk of space still to move higher. And if we get here the bullish cross on the MACD on the 4-day chart, you want to keep an eye on that. Then yeah, I think this could give us the boost in Bitcoin to move temporarily higher, to be fair, which wouldn't be that bad, because my originally plan was here already when we came down here, to then take profits when we move higher, yeah, before we come down. Now that significant move up never happened for Bitcoin. It did happen for some other cryptos, not for Bitcoin, but maybe it happens now, and then I would take that for profit taking before we come down, and will then use these profits again for reinvesting. And if you want to see my buy and sell orders in this whole process, then yeah, feel free to join the channel membership. You can find the links in the description. One more reason why I think we could actually really push through here, and still, I just need to reinforce, my primary view is still that we first come down, but some of the indicators pointing also towards higher prices, and one of them, and that triggered today that signal, and I rarely talk about that on this channel, but I've got it covered on my second YouTube channel where I do the TA tutorials. It is the Donchian channel, yeah. I like the Donchian channel. There have been popular traders who have actually made quite a bit of money just using only the Donchian channel. And the Donchian channel gives a buy signal when on 2 occasions, yeah, 2 candles break the Donchian channel. So this is the Donchian channel, and it was broken yesterday and today for the second time. Now, in none of the previous, or throughout this whole downtrend, that didn't happen. And also in this previous downtrend here, that was back in April, yeah, after that top, it also never broke until we started to move up. As you know, this move from July into November, I argue that this is also part of this correction, but it was a significant wave B, and also this broke. So it doesn't mean just because we are in a correction, we couldn't see some sort of a counter move, because just imagine how strong we moved up here. Yeah, I mean, we moved all the way down from around, well, nearly 70k to 33k. So you have to see at some point a counter reaction, or at least it is required actually to see further downside to some point, right? And the situation here was with Bitcoin that we were so much oversold that you just now have to see this counter reaction. Now, back in this larger wave B, we saw the Donchian channel broke and money could be made in that uptrend. And we now see as well this Donchian channel break. And this is a potential buy signal, yeah? Not telling you to buy, but it is considered in trading a buy signal, yeah? Confirms basically an uptrend. Bear in mind, we are still here just below significant resistance levels, and this is only one indicator, but it is noteworthy that in this downtrend here that started in November, it wasn't broken before twice, and also in this downtrend here that started in April, it wasn't broken twice. It typically breaks, especially on the daily, when we are going to see here a little bit more upside. And yeah, this is happening at the moment. So it is important to highlight that. Yeah, I just want to make you aware of this Donchian channel. So that is interesting. So as I said, we are here really at a tipping point at the moment. Really here at this at this tipping point for Bitcoin. So it will be a very interesting next few days. I think the next few days we could see a decision here what the price is going to do. And if we take a look here on the hourly, this is also going to tell us probably very shortly what's going to happen, because are we going to see here higher highs, or are we actually going to see here something that could be counted as a correction? Because what we saw here is basically here an uptrend, but this could have been this wave 4, so basically an ABC move. And what you could be seeing now is here potentially already a wave 1 that you saw then to the downside, and now a wave 2. But if the wave 2 is coming higher than this 45.5, then it is invalidated, and we get basically this sort of beginning of a potential downtrend, is then just invalidated. But if we draw the fibs from that top to the low there, that swing low, we can see that the price is currently struggling. You can see that. Draw the fibs from the top, want to be accurate here, to the low. We can see that the price, it did move here through the 0.618 fib level at 44.45. is probably now retesting it and could move higher, but this is actually within a wave 2. You would expect Fibonacci levels here, the 0.786, 0.887. So on the very small scale here, you've got here the next key resistance levels within these zones is 44.9k and 45.2k. Very important to see what kind of reaction there is. There is one last point the price could get to, which is 45.5, and if it can't get above that, then we get a double top that could push the price lower. If it breaks that, then we're going to see 46.5, and if it breaks that, then you can prepare for much higher prices in my view. But again, these much higher prices would only be part of a correction, which doesn't mean in this correction couldn't money be made. The first significant level that I then expect after we break 46.5 would be 51k. Cardano moving up here on this ascending trend line, still, but struggling to make higher highs here. Again, moving with Bitcoin, pretty much has hardly moved since my last video. And if we zoom in, there is also here a consolidation forming, some sort of a consolidation, had a bit of a W pattern here, and now it's just consolidating in some sort of a very small triangle move here. So I think also there we might see a little bit of a breakout. But what we need to understand is there isn't a lot of volume, not in Cardano, but also here Bitcoin doesn't have a lot of volume. So at the moment the crypto market is rather quiet actually. At least Bitcoin and Cardano are. There is not too much movement happening. I would still expect the price here to push at least once more to the 50-day moving average, which is sitting at 124. And if Cardano cannot push through that, I would expect a rejection, because that would then also be a lower high, and I think then we have a good chance to break that ascending trend line to the downside and could even see lower levels again. First of all here, then you probably get to the previous one of these swing lows at 115 again. If we can't push above 124, you go down to 115, that's the next support, or even here 110. And then I think you can see the $1 level if that breaks as well. As you know, I did talk about that scenario here before, that Cardano could already be in this wave 5 to the downside. First of all, Cardano is still in this descending channel. It might have seen here its wave 4 already, has started the wave 5 here with a 1, 2. That might now be the wave 2, and in the wave 2 you could come up actually quite a bit, all the way nearly to the top of the wave 4, before you then are going to see the next wave down. So Cardano doesn't look too exciting at the moment, still in this descending channel, and just following Bitcoin pretty much at the moment in what it is doing. You can see that on the ADA BTC chart. that ADA is still moving here sideways with Bitcoin, very much sideways from that low to that low. It's still a higher low, but also here what we need to see now, it has temporarily lost that ascending trend line. It has reclaimed it though, and it's just still moving sideways with Bitcoin. So that means that any move that Bitcoin is doing, probably Cardano will mirror in some way. That is currently my view here on Bitcoin and Cardano. Hopefully you liked the update about these two cryptos. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. And if you really like the content, maybe consider to join as a channel member. And for that, you can find the links in the video description. That gives you access then to Telegram, Discord, and a weekly live stream. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.